what's up? We are here. We are, kind of live. We are pre-recorded, but it is a Saturday night. It is Saturday night, June the 7th, 2025. That is the date that you are watching this on. This is another battle in the Cartoon Classic. This is the final quarterfinal matchup. The winner of this match is going to face Rugrats in the semifinals. Last week, the Simpsons defeated Kim Possible 4-1. They are going to meet Batman the Animated Series in the semifinals. So now we're going to find out who Rugrats is facing. It will be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original from 1987, versus Pokemon. Pay no attention to my shirt. Yes, I am secretly rooting for them, but I'm not judging, so it really doesn't matter what I think. But it is my favorite show versus Eric's favorite show. This is another reason why we keep contemplating divorce. But
it's Dave's favorite show too.
Which one is?
Pokemon, because he collects Pokemon cards.
You're just trying to throw him under the bus, so it takes some of the heat off of you.
Yeah, I'm just a collector, man. Doesn't mean my favorite.
He's just like, don't rope me into this. He goes, don't rope me into your marriage problems.
Yep. I ain't no counselor.
Yeah. But
thanks, Dave.
Yeah. I'll let you take the heat, Eric. I don't want it. I wasn't born for the kitchen.
Yeah. Oh, what the hell's going on? Let's see. I guess
I thought something happened for a second.
No, I got a text from somebody. It's just they just listened to the last episode, so they found it very funny. I guess.
Nice.
And by the way, I apologize if you guys got a view of something that you probably shouldn't have. Just thank God I'm wearing underwear. Because this would no longer be a family show. All right. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Pokemon. Again, 7 categories: theme song, animation quality, originality and creativity, characters, episodes, humor and entertainment value, and cultural impact and legacy. Last week, we only got through 5 categories. This week, I don't think we're going to be that lucky, although we might. Who knows? Real quick, as you can see on the bottom there, did I click the wrong? Because on this one, it says it's a 99 match season again.
It's under the when teams combine folder. I got it.
Oh, you want to put it up?
Yeah, I did. I just did.
Oh, you got it already?
Yep.
No, because this one that's down here now says it's a 99 match season. Oh, yeah. Now it says 82. Okay. All right. Never mind. So, all right. You can see that at the bottom there, the promotion for the next tournament. We still need people to run divisions. We're at 51 people right now. We're going to cap it at 60 unless we get more requests after we hit 60. Then I'll probably let it go, which I know is making Dave secretly smile because he did not want to cap on this.
I'm in it for you guys.
Yeah. So Dave's just like, just let it run. Just let it run. Let as many people join it as possible. But the goal is to get 60 people in there, and we're pretty close. We're at 51. You don't have to do anything when you're running the division. You're doing it in name only. If you one of your cartoons in your division, you're going to have 4 of them. We're going to draft. It's going to be done via a wheel, so you don't have to count. Well, we're not drafting your teams for you. A wheel is doing it. So you just have to hope that the wheel is smarter than the 4 of us. So good luck with that. But you'll have 4 cartoons in your division. If any of your cartoons win the entire tournament, you will win a $100 Amazon gift card. We are also working on adding second and third place prize as well. And that'll start at the end of this month of June. Obviously, we are in the first week of June right now as you are watching this. But the official tournament will start in July, or the official next tournament. The Animated Anarchy series is what it's called. I forgot to mention that last week. All right. Let's go ahead and let's get started because we are pre-recording another episode after this. We'll start with theme song. And all right. I got everything. All right. So theme song. Both shows have words in their theme songs. Ninja Turtles, I can't really sing it because, I don't want to get nailed for copyright. Pokemon, very catchy theme song there. Both very catchy. Both, I'm sure, are ringtones on people's phones. Especially for a lot of Pokemon collectors. I'm sure that song is stuck in their heads. Now, as the shows went on, there was like different versions of the theme song. Like I know Turtles changed up a little bit in season, I think it was season 9 that they changed up. They ran for 10 seasons. I think Pokemon altered their theme song a little bit by season 4.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Probably a little more modern. Yeah.
So, but both shows have very iconic theme songs. Sean, I'm going to start with you. Who had it better?
Pokemon. It's just, I don't know. More catchy to me. I remember it.
Okay.
I don't have to hear it to know what it was.
Gotcha.
If I was to hear like the Teenage Mutant Ninja one, I'd have to like walk to the screen and be like, what is that? But no, Pokemon, I thought it was just a lot better.
Okay. I don't know about all that. Dave, I'm going to go to you next.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Sean. Pokemon on this one. Their theme song, I just think, was top tier. It's really hard to compete with Pokemon's theme song. You could play it in a room, and everybody in that room is going to know that's Pokemon. So I got to go with them.
Okay. By the way, in this single elimination tournament battles, this is technically the first battle that Teenage Ninja Turtles has lost because they swept Biker Mice from Mars in the first round.
Wow.
So, all right, Eric, it doesn't matter, but go ahead anyway.
Pokemon, because it's very catchy. I mean, both are very catchy, but there's just something about Pokemon that gets you invested into the show. Gotcha. In my opinion.
Yeah. All right.
Not
Fair
to say
enough.
Ninja Turtles doesn't either, but
yeah. Should have got different judges for this show. Okay. Animation quality is next up. Pokemon wins the first round. They are up 1-0. Animation quality. Ninja Turtles animation quality definitely evolved over the years. They were on for 10 seasons, but it was also very good. It was very good animation quality. They were, how they were developed, and they did sometimes have that where one character was talking, but another character was on screen. So like the wrong character would sometimes talk. But the action sequences really went with the animation, and it was very well done. Pokemon, started in Japan, known as Pocket Monsters. Their animation quality, if you are a fan of that type of quality, it was very good. Now, it's another one though that would evolve over the years. I felt like the first season was kind of shoddy a little bit, but I do think it got better.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas Ninja Turtles, I felt like, they evolved, but I always felt like that their animation was really good from start to finish. But all right, Dave, I'm going to go to you first.
For the animation, I'm gonna have to go with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I
Okay.
just thought it was a little more clean than Pokemon, especially in the earlier seasons.
Yeah.
And some of the episodes in Pokemon, you can tell like some lines weren't perfect. So like if you were really watching, like some like facial structures, like people in the background and stuff, like they weren't detailed perfectly. So I got to give it to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
All right. Eric, we'll go to you next.
I'm going Turtles too. I think theirs were just a bit better in quality, and I like the action. There was more action in Turtles.
Okay. Sean, you're the one that doesn't matter this round, but go ahead anyway.
Ninja Turtles. A lot better fight scenes,
Yeah.
sequences, and very good at attention to detail.
Mhm.
Are you
Right.
surprised, Doug?
I'm surprised that this was a sweep. Yeah, I'm surprised that both categories were that the first two categories were a sweep. I felt like that it would have been split.
Okay.
Fair.
But then also too, it's kind of hard to tell with you guys sometimes. Dave is our wild card. I know how Eric thinks, so he tries to switch it up just to think just so he can try to keep me surprised.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, it's what's
As long as it's your honest opinion.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I ask for is everybody's honest opinion. I might not be happy with it, but this isn't about, what I think. It's about the best cartoon moving forward.
Yep.
Now, and as far as Sean goes, Sean sometimes like I think I know what you're thinking, but then sometimes you do throw it for a loop because you have us convinced, just like you had us convinced a few weeks ago that X-Men was going to move on because you were talking about all of Dave's good points.
Mhm.
And then you said, I don't listen to Dave, so Simpsons. By the way, in last week's episode, you were a lot more eloquent with how you worded that.
Yeah. He almost flipped. I almost got him to flip.
Yeah,
man.
he almost flipped,
Mhm.
but
Almost.
Yeah. but
Yeah, a bit.
yeah, he's just like, yeah, almost, but I kind of. He goes, I was just stringing you along.
Mhm.
All part of my master plan.
Yeah. So all right, so we're at 1-1. The next category is originality and creativity. Again, it's original, so like original concept and creativity. How creative did everybody get with these episodes and with the show? Originality. Ninja Turtles started off as a comic book. Pokemon, I believe, it was a Japanese cartoon called Pocket Monsters, and was it originally a card game?
I don't know which came first, actually.
I couldn't tell you.
I think it was.
Well, some experts you guys turned out to be. But yeah, because I remember Pokemon really catching on the cards because everybody wanted.
Oh yeah, Pokemon cards came first.
Okay, so, but it was an adaptation of, Ninja Turtles came from a comic book. Pokemon came from cards and from a Japanese TV show. But both concepts turned into something really cool because it turned into something for kids to watch every day after school.
Yeah.
Because
I actually think the game might have been released before both.
oh yeah, that's right. It probably got released in Japan because it got released in Japan as Pocket Monsters, right?
I believe so.
So like originally, you know, these are concepts derived from other merchandise, but still, I mean, it was the same thing with Super Mario Brothers, same thing with a lot of things. Same thing with Batman. Batman was a comic book way before he was a cartoon.
Yep.
Creativity of Pokemon and coming up with some of these Pokemon, you know, the creatures, you know, and we'll talk about characters in the next category, but and some of their powers, and you know, a Pokemon master, or a kid who wanted to be a Pokemon master, who started off as a complete goof, but he, you know, became pretty respected. He had himself a nice crew. Ninja Turtles, the creativity there was some of the battle scenes, and you know, them bringing in April O'Neil and some of the other like side characters that they would come up with for like just one-offs and episodes, which a lot of it was basically done just so they'd have more characters to make action figures out of.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're coming up with, and again, we'll get into that when it comes to characters, but coming up with different scenarios and different plots for the episodes, both shows on the creative side, you know, did things very well and really kept their audiences captivated.
I agree. They were both
I agree with
phenomenal with creativity.
They were both creative in their own way.
Yeah. So they had, but yeah, so both are creative. So again, originality, you know, they both were derived from other concepts, but creativity, you know, they both kind of hit it out of the park. Eric, I'm going to start with you this time around.
I'm going with Pokemon because of the characters that they created. You don't usually see that in other shows, especially with their powers and all the stuff.
Evolutions as well.
Yeah.
Got my microphone. All right, Eric, you said Pokemon?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Sean, what say you?
I'm going with Pokemon as well.
Okay. Dave?
Yeah, that's a 3 in a row. I just thought it was a little bit more creative with the evolutions, all the abilities and different types, and what was strong and weak against others. Thought they just really did a good job with that. So got to give it to them. Even though mutant turtles were pretty cool. I mean, like they crawled into some stuff, got big, and learned. They had a rat teach them. I mean, like you never heard of that before. Like
they love pizza.
Yeah, they love pizza, skateboarding, and all that stuff. Like that was pretty sweet. And they're fighting like ninjas, so that was amazing. But I got the edge goes to Pokemon to me.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Pokemon's up 2-1. By the way, Ninja Turtles beat Biker Mice from Mars to get to the second round. They beat them 4-0. Pokemon beat the real Ghostbusters 4-1 to get to the second round. And
nice.
They're awaiting them right now is Rugrats. But we got to finish this first. We got to see who's going to face the Rugrats in the semifinal. Up next is characters, and I have a feeling this is going to be the harder category because if you look at it and say, oh yeah, well, all the episodes were based on. If you look at Ninja Turtles, like all the episodes were based on the Ninja Turtles, but it's just like they were, but they weren't, because sometimes like it would be about who the villains were in that episode, which normally it would be Shredder, but you got to think of some of these other characters that became side characters because they were so popular in the one episode that they decided to bring them back.
Yeah.
All right. But you have the Turtles. You have Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, Donatello. They're all on my shirt. April O'Neil, the news reporter. You have Master Splinter. You know, in the Channel 6 news studio, you have Vernon, the cameraman. You have Bern Thompson, who was the boss at the news station. You have Irma, who was April's assistant. You also, the bad guys, you have Shredder, Krang, Bebop, Rocksteady, the Foot Soldiers. Other characters that would be introduced, you had Baxter Stockman, you had the Neutrinos, you had the Rat King, who did a few episodes. You had Zach, who was the unofficial fifth turtle. He was another teenager who was a fan of the Turtles and would help them out. You also had other characters that they would make toys out of, like General Trag from Dimension X. I believe I mentioned Baxter Stockman already, but I'll say it again. You had Wingnut and Screwloose, who were a villain in an episode, or who were villains in an episode. So you had a whole plethora of characters, and even if they were just one-offs, like Murdude in an episode, which I'll talk about later on when they did an episode about Atlantis, they were still made to feel important for that episode. They were still a focal point. In Pokemon, you have Ash, Misty, Brock. You have Team Rocket, which Jesse and James, and that stupid intro every episode. And one episode I actually watched earlier, like their boss even got tired of hearing it. Their leader that they report to or whatever, they're like, I have no time for this. But you also have the Pokemon: Pikachu, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Charmander. Other Pokemon, you have Meowth, who was with Team Rocket. You have Onyx. You have the one snake, whatever. I forgot what.
Ekans, Arbok.
Yeah. So you also have other Pokemon that made appearances, like Psyduck, Jigglypuff, Sparrow. All these other Pokemon that I really can't name, even though I've heard their names like 6 or 7 times because I was watching episodes today. But each one of those Pokemon also had their own episodes where they were featured.
Yep.
So both shows had characters that, while you had your main characters, the supporting characters, like we talked last week with The Simpsons, the supporting characters made all the difference in the world for both shows.
100% agree.
Good. So, all right, Dave, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, for characters, I'm going to go with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, actually. Okay. I just thought the characters were made a little better. Pokemon, their characters, like the Pokemon didn't talk except for Meowth, so you didn't really get anything from them besides battles and stuff and like their attitude, maybe. In the Ninja Turtles, everybody talks.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can relate with certain people more. I think like Ash and them, they had good moments and whatnot, but it wasn't. I don't think they were as good, like with depth behind the character as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right. Eric, how about it?
I'm going Turtles too. Dave alluded to it. I think their characters are better. Not better, but just their side characters. There's more. They're like April O'Neil, the villains, and what's his name? The Master.
Master Splinter.
Thank you.
Okay. Sean, doesn't necessarily matter, but we always love to hear your opinion anyway.
Turtles as well. I thought they were just cooler.
All right, this is becoming a battle.
Sweeps.
Yeah. Well, no. So Rugrats won a few weeks ago by a score of 4-3, but they came back from 3-1. They had to do a comeback on Rocket Power. The last 2 weeks have been 4-1 And we've been, thinking, this next category can end it. Not today, because it's tied 2-2.
Yep.
So, all right, here's another hard category. Episodes.
Oh boy.
So I remember a lot more of the Ninja Turtle episodes by hand because I was more obsessed with that show. But Pokemon did have some good ones.
Yeah, they did.
Today, I watched an episode where they ended up trapped on Pokemon World, which was going to be a theme park. Or not even necessarily like a theme park, but like one of those things, like back, I don't know if they still do it or not, but it was in Canada when I was a kid. It's that African lion safari. Dave and Sean, you guys might know what I'm talking about because
Yeah, no, I've been to one of those. The African Wild Safari, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been to one per se, but I know what they are.
I don't know if they're a thing anymore. They might be something different, like called differently, but
I mean, when I was a kid, we went once, and my dad was just like, I don't want my car to get ruined, so we actually rented a van. Which, by the way, and you've seen this a lot on stand-up specials too, where they talk about they always want the extra insurance for the rental car because they know it's going to get screwed up. And that's what my dad did because like he had monkeys jumping on the car, scratching it, and all that. And
Wow.
It had to be pretty cool to be in.
Yeah, just driving through, and obviously they tell you to put your windows up, for good reason because the animals come up to you.
Yep. Don't get out of your car.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so like, but yeah, so in the episode, they were in Pokemon World, and Dave, you talked, in the last category how the Pokemon didn't really talk, and they didn't. All they said was their names.
Mm-hmm.
In this episode, the Pokemon had subtitles. They would say their name, but they would say because they were all talking to each other.
Yeah.
But they would only say their name, but at the bottom it would say if Pokemon went Pikachu, and at the bottom he'd like be answering somebody's question or something.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was another episode where they were trying to help one of the Pokemon, Robin or something, or it was a blue Pokemon who was trying to find a mate.
I'm trying to think.
I just watched this episode like an hour and a half ago, and I already can't remember the name.
Well, there's a ton of Pokemon, so it's like.
Wait, Eric, did you just flip me off?
No, I just went like this.
Oh, I saw a finger go up in the air. I was like, wait a minute. Just because I can't remember one Pokemon's name?
No,
Straight to HR.
I would never do.
Send them to
I would
the
never
HR.
do that to you, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, Doug. If I
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of blue Pokemon. I mean, you got like
and there's a lot of
Squirtle.
bird Pokemon too.
Yeah, you got Squirtle, Gyarados,
Yeah.
Poliwrath, Oddish, Horsey.
Well,
Horsia.
and another episode that I remember that I watched was the episode where they were a Bulbasaur, where they came across Bulbasaur, and then Bulbasaur ended up being, I think he ended up being Misty's Pokemon, right?
Bulbasaur?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he Misty's or Brock's?
Bulbasaur was Ash's Pokemon, as far as I can remember.
Well, they all were like in the same, like because Bulbasaur was calling out for Misty in the episode on about Pokemon World.
I can't remember.
But anyway, so the episode where they got Bulbasaur and they were on this island, and Bulbasaur was trying to protect his friends, and he wanted to bite Ash.
Wow.
She borrowed Ash's Bulbasaur for a brief time to participate in a contest.
Okay.
But she never had ownership of Bulbasaur.
All right,
her own Pokemon.
It was Ash's though, right? All right.
Yeah.
So, all right, that makes more sense. I probably should have watched these episodes in order. So there's, and you can't forget the pilot episode where Ash overslept, and then he got Pikachu, and Pikachu really wanted nothing to do with him.
He hated him at first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yep.
kept frying them.
yeah. And then, but then Pikachu grew to love him
Yep.
because he stuck up for
Who
him.
doesn't like Pikachu? Pikachu is so cute.
Easy, Tiger. Some of the Ninja Turtle episodes. You can't forget the pilot of that show where the turtles rescue April and bring her into their lair for the first time, and tell her the backstory.
And she didn't like them at first either.
No, not at all.
She didn't. She was terrified.
It even took, I think it even took a couple of episodes. Because remember, the first season was only 5 episodes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Wow.
So, because this was a test run to see if people could get into it or not.
And the rest is history.
Yeah. You also have the episodes, of when they first meet the neutrinos, when the neutrinos escape from Dimension X. I mentioned earlier about an episode where they went to Atlantis. All right. And they met Murdude, which he had an even longer name, but Michelangelo couldn't pronounce it, so he just called him Murdude. And in that episode, Bebop ended up becoming the king of Atlantis. And then he thought he could get Shredder to respect him and be like, you have to show me some respect, boss. I'm the king. And then Shredder's just like, yeah, right. So Shredder called Krang and said, Krang, please set Bebop's room on fire back at the Technodrome. And then Bebop's just like, never mind, boss. You can have whatever you want. There's the episode where they were first introduced to Baxter Stockman, and Baxter Stockman had the Mousers. The episode where April's friend Irma ended up growing 30 feet tall after getting hit with some ray. Just very iconic episodes. Both shows had them. So, Sean, I don't think your vote has counted in a couple of categories, so we'll start with you first.
I'm going to go with Pokemon. Just a lot of variety going on, and I don't know, I thought it was also like funny and serious, like funny, but then like serious when it comes to more of the action.
Yeah.
So I thought it balanced pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about humor and entertainment value, next category.
No, I know.
All right. Dave, we'll go to you.
For this episode, I'm gonna have to go with the turtles again. Like some of the episodes for Pokemon, just didn't do it for me. Just like there was some here and there just that weren't great. Kind of like filler episodes, if you may. So I got to go with the turtles on this. They kept it every episode. They brought it every episode. So
That's fair.
Okay. All right. Heartbreaker.
Episodes for both were great. I just enjoyed Pokemon just a little more. So I'm going Pokemon.
Okay. That's why I call them the Heartbreaker, folks.
Sorry, Doug.
That's all right. My opinion of you really can't get any lower. So.
No. Ironic. My opinion of you is high.
Aw. Such a kiss up. But I still love you. So, all right. Pokemon's up 3-2. They can end it in this category. Humor and entertainment value. They could, but will they? We'll find out. All right. Humor and entertainment value, which I don't think I've really gotten a chance to talk about this category in a couple of weeks.
No. Yeah.
But it's all right. Which show was better at making you laugh? Which show entertained you more? For both shows, I mean, Pokemon probably did have some entertaining moments. but they were more entertaining than they were humorous, at least in my opinion. Ninja Turtles, I think, brought both. Brought both humor and entertainment value. Because the Turtles were funny. Krang could be funny. Shredder could be funny. Bebop and Rocksteady could be hilarious. But also their battle scenes could be very entertaining.
And sometimes funny in the battle scenes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
So
brought that humor in there.
yeah. Pokemon, I think sometimes they tried to attempt to be funny, but in the entertainment value, they definitely brought it because of some of those Pokemon battles were entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But like their humor just came off as they're trying to be funny, but they're not really doing it. They're not really doing it that well.
Yeah,
But,
their humor wasn't that great.
All right. Eric is not here. I wonder what happened. So, all right, we'll go to. I was going to go to Eric first, but Sean, we'll go to you first again.
I'm gonna go with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
All right.
I think just the action alone was enough for me. But then you had all the funny moments, the quirky side, all the jokes, antics between all the turtles themselves, and then like you said, Pokemon, you kind of saw them trying too hard to be funny.
Right.
Eric's back.
Yeah. But now I'm echoing. So Eric fixed that. It was perfect. I don't know why you screwed it up by leaving.
Straight to jail.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
I just had to restart my computer.
So, all right. Humor and entertainment value, Eric. Who you giving it to?
I'm going Pokemon.
Okay. Why? Because I gave reasons as to why Pokemon. So give your reason.
I just laughed more because of the Pokemon and the way they acted, like Pikachu and all the other, and then how what's his now I forgot his name. Shoot.
All right. Well, obviously, Eric didn't pay attention to anything I said. You could tell that his computer went out as I was giving the explanation and whatever.
Oh.
All right, Dave, go ahead. Break the tie.
I'm gonna have to go with the Turtles on this one. I thought they really brought the humor. I really love Mikey's character. I thought he was hilarious and his love for pizza.
Yeah.
And he skateboarded. I liked skateboarding back in the day. And Pokemon didn't bring that humor whatsoever.
Well, obviously, according to Eric, they did.
They Team Rocket was annoying.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't really stand when they showed up in episodes, and it was rare that they didn't. So,
they were funny at first.
Yeah.
And they never changed.
Couple episodes, yeah. But then after the 10th episode, when they're given an intro again.
Yeah. So I got to go with the Turtles here, and the entertainment. I mean, the action was pretty cool. I mean, yeah, Pokemon, they had their battles, but it wasn't all the time. Like when they were having, like, there was times where they're just walking through the woods and they're just sitting there talking. Like, that's not entertaining and it's not funny.
There's episodes where they're literally doing just that. It's like watching Lord of the Rings all over again.
Hey, that's a great movie. Don't hate on Lord of the Rings.
I had a couple of action figures for Lord of the Rings at one time, but then I ended up selling them.
No, I love Lord of the Rings.
It's one of my favorite trilogies. But yeah, Turtles all the way on humor and entertainment.
Okay, so it's tied 3-3. So we're finally going to 7. after a couple weeks of not doing that.
I have my computer back on, so I'll go back to that.
All right. I don't know who restarts their computer in the middle of an episode, but all right. All right. Cultural impact and legacy. Eric is back. So, all right. Cultural impact and legacy. We're tied at 3-3. This is the category that is going to decide it. And this is another category. Again, it's two parts. It's the cultural impact that it had at the time on people and the legacy that it has left behind. And you know, Ninja Turtles really has made that comeback. All right, there was a period in time where they weren't really like, you know, they weren't really a fixture anymore.
Yeah.
And
they
then
came out with the
Nickelodeon-
live action.
Huh?
They came out with the live action too.
Yeah, because Nickelodeon bought the rights to the Turtles and wanted to bring it back.
Yeah. Smart idea.
So, and they capitalized on it, which is why Paramount bought the rights to the original series, and they have the first few seasons on Paramount. The rest you can find on Amazon Prime. You know, Ninja Turtles has their own channel. So they, you know, so they really have, because they had quite the impact at the time. Because if you think about it, comic books, the show, live action movies that came out in the early 90s. The third one we really don't have to talk about. The third live action Ninja Turtles movie, because it was horrible when they went to Japan. Also, action figures, which they've made new action figures and they've re-released some of the old ones. So, you know, kids today can see, you know, the fun that we all had with these, or at least that I had with them back in the day. You know, T-shirts, you know, Ninja Turtle comforters, pillows, plush dolls, the Ninja Turtle coming out of your shells album. Somebody just get hit in the head and now they're hearing birds. So
That's the bird that likes to sit outside my window on a tree.
he's trying to give his opinion.
Mhm.
So, but you can't dismiss Pokemon, because Pokemon, the cultural impact, you know, the games, the show, the cards, you know, you could buy the
Pokemon Go.
Pokeballs.
Mhm.
The what, Eric?
Pokemon Go.
Yeah, Pokemon Go. For a minute, I thought you were saying
Cards.
you had on a right. Yeah, the one that your cat tried to destroy earlier.
Yep.
I thought Eric was going to talk about the Pokemon thong he's got on right now.
No.
But
Very funny though.
but both shows really did have a cultural impact, and they have left a legacy. But whose was better? Eric, I was going to start with you in the last category because I knew you were going to make me mad. So I have the same expectations. So I'm going to start with you in this category.
Oh boy. Both legacies are great to this day. Which one has more impact? I will say.
I mean, that's what I'm asking.
No, I'm just.
He's stalling for time.
I'm going with Turtles. I
Okay.
just think there's more. It's more legendary. I think people know them more than Pokemon. There's a certain group of people that are Pokemon.
All right, Dave, I'm looking at your face right now. There's a lot of disagreement, so I'm going to go to you next.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with Eric and go Pokemon. I mean, it's known worldwide, Eric. Worldwide. You got Pokemon Go, where they travel to different countries to go to events to, you know, like, I mean, yeah, I can't even explain. Everyone has their own favorite Pokemon. I mean, everyone knows
That's
Pokemon.
true. Yeah.
So I mean, I just think it's got the edge here. Like, turtles are great. I mean, everybody loves the turtles, but I think Pokemon just has them by just a bit.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Sean?
It's only fair to end it with a tiebreaker, right?
Yeah.
Only fair. Pokemon. I think it, legacy wise, obviously, big in the card game. Everybody knows it. A bunch of games, bunch of merchandise. And it's like Dave said, everybody has a favorite Pokemon.
Fair enough. I should have fired you guys on Tuesday when I had the chance.
Lucario gang. Lucario gang.
Yo, that's one of my favorites too. Oh my god.
Lucario's a savage.
I got a couple dope cards of him too.
All right. If anybody out there for the next tournament is willing to be a judge and my new co-host, please feel free. I mean, I've been wanting to fire these guys for a couple of days now, so
It's only fair that Eric's favorite two shows have to go up against each other now.
Oh, Rugrats and Pokemon?
Yep.
I mean, fair enough. I mean, I completely disagree with everything you two boneheads just said.
Fair enough. It is hard because, like, I was thinking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in a way, like, you can bring that up, and they're specifically talking about the show.
Yeah.
Or a show. Pokemon, you have games.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing you had to, like, you guys, mentioned, okay, the cards, you gave it you gave the edge to Pokemon, and you said, okay, it's because of the game.
And the cards.
This battle is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the show, versus Pokemon, the show, not the game. So,
but
I think the show has more legacy
Pokemon,
as well.
The show.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
But you guys said, okay,
but you also brought up
the game.
You also brought up things for Ninja Turtles, like the movies and stuff that came after.
What I was basically trying to get my point across was with legacy and impact. The show impacted all the card games to be
card games came out first.
No, but it elevated it. Like it popped it off. It popped off for more video games and more merchandise sales from the shows.
No, I think that the cards were already more popular, and then the show came out, and then it's like, okay, like more people focused more on the card games and the video games than they did the show. I mean, the show was just there.
Yeah, I think the show helped them with more like collectors than playing the game, the card game itself.
I mean, I still think you two are stupid, but that's
fine.
I woke up every morning to watch Pokemon when it showed up on Saturday mornings.
Yeah,
like I just think the show itself is a little bit better with the legacy. That's it.
All right, fair enough. So all right, Pokemon wins. So they will go to the semifinals against Rugrats. Again, I don't agree with it, but I'm not judging. They are. I kind of figured though that was going to happen. So all right, Batman versus the Simpsons in the semifinals, and Pokemon versus Rugrats in the semifinal. Which battle do you guys want to do next week?
Pokemon and Rugrats.
Pokemon and Rugrats.
You want to get that out of the way?
Might as well.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'm with it.
Okay. Make sure to like and subscribe to the When Tunes Combine YouTube channel, Eric's Unscripted Sports Show channel, the Stabcast, Wrestling Through the Years. I'm not very happy with them right now, but make sure to check Check out Sean at TCAX Reaper on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Dave on Twitch at TCAX Godsend. Sean is TCAX Reaper. Dave is TCAX Godsend 95. And we'll see everybody next week.
Peace.
Later.